Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Chicken Coop podcast, where half the time I don't write the shit down that we gotta fucking talk about. I'm Lane. Today I'm joined by fucking Evan.
Yeah.
Yeet, boys. And we're gonna continue on with Evan's fucking pages of stories, along with a new one. But there's something that has happened in recent news. I don't think you've heard about this, Evan. Have you? This,
I doubt it.
I would just say, okay. So here, It's gonna be a little guesswork on your part. Okay. So.
Okay.
Something YouTube involved that I personally grew up with. I found them in middle school. It's a channel, and it's more specifically a character, has found their way into mainstream media, or mainstream media has found this character for one, for like some reason or another. So I just want you to take a guess who would get what character would get out there, and that the mainstream media would just suddenly kind of blow up about.
You can't ask me those questions. I don't know. That's the worst part.
Okay. So a little bit of a backstory then. I don't have anything pulled up. I'm going off of knowledge that I can remember. Basically, you know how there's YouTube and then there's YouTube Kids. Like they're two separate kind of entities running together. Well, someone apparently took some Filthy Frank. They took some bits from his video where he did in front of a green screen and just let you do whatever you wanted with it. And they took that and just kind of stuffed it in the middle of a children's thing and then put it on YouTube Kids. And so some mom found their kid watching it, and apparently it had to do with them showing, with fucking Frank giving directions on how to commit suicide, because it was the sideways for attention, long ways for results bit.
Yeah.
So like the mom that saw it, she's like, she made a video on it. She made a blog post. Media got a hold of it. Obviously not big enough to cause an uproar, but at the same time, just from that, what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
Honestly, I think it's stupid and hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, it's like fucking blown out of proportion, because it's not like a little kid is gonna see that and instantly go, ooh, now I know what to do with Pommy's razor.
Oh, I think someone called me.
I got a phone call.
Yeah, that was the phone call that we're gonna discuss later.
All right, that's fucking relevant.
Yeah, it's important, but it's not important right now. Anyway,
exactly. Well, that's about it though. That's just the idea. Is just what's your opinion on?
She keeps calling. Hold on, I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna text her while we talk a little bit.
Tell her to make a Discord. Bring her in.
No, I can't.
But that's the whole idea. It's just
So anyway, it was blown way out of proportion, and I thought it was kind of funny because I'm like, she made a blog post.
I know. She was getting out there, and it was like, you're supposed to keep track of your fucking kid. Don't just sit him in front of YouTube Kids and have him sit there, or they'll see suicide.
Yeah, I don't think YouTube Kids is that educational to begin with.
Oh hell no!
It's YouTube Kids.
It's the Spider-Man and Elsa stuff. You remember that? Remember when
that
that was
a
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's those, and have you seen that weird video? It's like an ad you can find where it's learn your colors, but they're eggs with they're Cyclops eggs with legs.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's the weirdest fucking thing ever. It's like a whole nother entity. But yeah, it was just, they took it way too far. It was more of, I think it was more of that the adults knew what the message was and the kids didn't. And so the adults instantly were like,
but the video wasn't made seriously. The original Filthy Frank video was not made sincerely. It was made as a joke. It was satire.
Exactly. It was the whole idea of what Filthy Frank is. The guy who put it into a kids thing, kind of a piece of shit. It's kind of like a weird low blow.
That was a little bit of a low blow, but I mean, it's perfect comedy, honestly.
Yes.
It's surprising, it's shocking, and it gets a reaction. That's what you look for in satire. It definitely did that.
It is the pinnacle of satirical comedy. Okay, here, get on with your new story that apparently has been unfolded.
God. All right.
This is brand
new.
So
I'm not gonna to save the people who are involved. I'm just gonna go with basic names.
Okay.
So said person, I'm gonna name Sarah for this instance. We're friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty close, and so she has a certain person, let's say, who's just in her past life was pretty abusive, sucky human being, and then decides to come up out of the blue and start doing it again mentally.
All right.
The usual prostitute names, like a whore and all that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how about this? Give me her number. And she was like, what? I was like, just give me her phone number, and I'm just going to have a bit of fun.
Oh no.
Because obviously I find the worst jokes in evil, hurt feelings comedy.
Yeah.
So I text her. There's a whole paragraph that I might send you later if I
Okay.
have it saved. It was a whole thing. It was a big text wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so, come to my surprise, she texted me back, and she's like, "Who is this?" And I was, and later on, we just kind of go back and forth about like I'm like, oh, it doesn't really fucking matter who I am. You're a sucky human being with a little bit more flavorful text up in the mix.
All right, yeah.
So later on, she calls me actually, and not over Discord. I have a way deeper voice that's not over recording. Yeah. And she texts me, and basically I just go into the phone mic like I drown. I'm just like, keep my head. That's it. And then I hang up, and she thinks that I'm black.
Oh,
that's not a joke. She actually thinks that.
Oh my god.
So she texted me. She was like, "Oh, you're black. Sarah's a total loser." Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "If you don't get your honky cracker ass."
It's like, thanks for calling me black. You've opened up a door of so many possibilities.
Yeah, I was like, if you don't get your honky cracker ass on right now, your family tree has to look like a Christmas wreath.
Oh, that's so good.
And she was like, "I'm gonna call so and so's dad, and we're gonna see who's a bitch." And I was like, I was so inclined to give her my location, like my actual house. I was like, go ahead, show up.
Just show up.
I will hit a grown woman. That was basically it. They keep calling me, and it's kind of getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
It's super annoying because obviously they're not going to do anything about it. They're not going to drive all the way up to Tennessee from Pennsylvania.
Oh god.
To tell a 16-year-old kid stop.
To tell him
they can't do anything to me.
No.
I'm a minor.
Exactly. They
but
can't
that's
do anything.
not to their knowledge. So if they were to come to my house and be like, "Hey,"
they would be expecting
we're gonna harass you.
They'd expect a big black man, and then a white red-haired boy opens the door.
This really tall white kid comes out the door and be like, "What y'all want?"
You called?
Because I'll probably forget after like a week.
I know.
I'm like, "Who are you?"
Exactly.
Cuckoo, what's going on over here, dude?
That's great.
And then they're like, "Were you the one talking all that trash?" I'm like, "Oh, maybe."
Oh, wait.
That's a possibility.
I don't know.
Honestly,
what did the person say? It's like I
was like, "I talk a lot of shit. You got to be specific."
Exactly.
Honestly, though, I think it's kind of pathetic when a grown person just beats on a kid. It's pathetic, really.
You're proving nothing.
You're proving nothing for the fact that the kid's like half your age and probably half your size.
Exactly.
You're wailing on him for God knows what because of your Napoleon complex or whatever.
There you go.
Your superiority issues. Maybe you had daddy issues when you were younger, but that's not my problem. Mm-hmm. Don't beat your kids.
Don't beat a child.
Harass her. There's no point in it. You don't gain anything from it. No one succeeds. No one gains anything from harassing a child.
Exactly.
Nothing good comes out of it.
It's just all that shit.
It's going to make problems for the kid when they're older and then make problems for you because the kid's going to start figuring it out and maybe murder you when you're older. I don't know. I don't know what kids do.
How old are you and when's your birthday? Like 5 years later, they find you. You're not a child anymore.
You're not a child anymore. I'm like, yeah, and I have a sidearm.
Exactly. It's like,
lay your hands on me and you're going to have a hole in your kneecap.
Exactly. I fucking love it.
Yeah, that's about it. It wasn't anything so horribly bad that I'm going to go to prison or anything, but it was still retarded, and I wish for the people who may listen in the future, raise your kids right. Raise your kids with compassion, please.
Yeah. Teach them to respect people and not say shit. I'll be honest.
Teach them to love everybody. Yeah, what's up?
I'll be honest. I'm a very nice guy. I'm very respectful to everybody, and I assume you are too, because I just kind of.
Yes, sir.
I get that kind of mentality feeling from you. But I was a piece of shit in middle school.
Oh, I mean, same. Everybody was. It's middle school.
I gave like so much sass to like it was only like one person in particular, and it was only I only gave it to them because they had the shittiest like attitude towards just about everybody. Not really everybody. Well, I think it was just they
in
just had a
general.
shitty, yeah, and just in general. And it was just this fat black girl, and her name was Miracle. And I'm like, huh, I know why they called you Miracle now.
Oh my god!
I made jokes like that. I remember I made jokes about Moby Dick. I made those, and then the gym teacher, because it was only in gym that I had class with her. The gym teacher called me over, and he was like, what are you and the other boys saying over there?" I was like, "I was just talking about Moby Dick to him, philosophy." Like
Philosophy.
I never heard anything else about it ever. Like at one point, I was in the hallway, and some person who worked in the office said, "I feel like I saw something come in with you." I was like, "Really?" Because I don't remember. Like I was just trying to bullshit my way out of it. But there was nothing ever to follow up with that, and it was like, man, the school system really fucking sucks.
I feel that.
Jesus. All right.
Oh yeah, should we follow up with another tale from Evan's high school experience?
Yes.
Destroying teachers' existence.
We need to. It's the best part.
Except this teacher still works there.
I didn't.
She still works in the building. She still works in the building. She's just. I feel like she doesn't. I feel like she has a different outlook on life, and I hope she does. To be. So this all began sophomore year, around the beginning of the year ish. It's when me and said teacher came face to face. The beginning of sophomore year. This is when we still had homeroom implemented.
Oh yeah.
We don't have it anymore. We just have 7 long periods and an extra lunch period because people were complaining about packed lunches, but that's not the point. Anyway, so it's a pretty easy year. The teacher's pretty strict, but I'm like, yeah, she can. It's a salty teacher. I only got to put up with her for what, like 45 minutes a day. Exactly. I can deal with it. So they made this thing called like Achieve 3000. It's basically a reading test, essentially, all right. And it's directed for the kids who have a hard time with English language arts and stuff. It's to help them with them specifically.
Yeah.
So it's got a good outlook, but you see, I'm in like the higher end. Applied for this academy at school sort of thing. So you're a
smart boy.
Yeah, I don't need to prove myself in the reading aspect, especially since I got like a 30 on my English ACT.
Exactly, yeah.
I don't need to prove myself in English, and I took the practice ACT to prove that I don't need help, just so I could get out of it, because I was like, I will work as hard as I can. For a quote from Ron Swanson, I will work as hard as possible to make sure nothing gets done. To make sure nothing gets done. And that's basically what that was. It was me working as hard as I possibly could to make sure nothing gets done. So I had to do more work. Work as hard as I can to have no more work.
Yeah. Jesus.
So what she was doing, and what homeroom was originally designed for, was like homework to catch up on work or to just chill out.
Yeah.
And what she was doing is she was prioritizing this Achieve 3000 over homework and other things. Yeah. I can see prioritizing it because she wanted people to work or whatever. I was like, I get that.
Yeah.
But she was prioritizing it over work that I already had. Like I'd come in there with a project and she'd be like, put it down, do your Achieve 3000. I'd look at her, I'd be like, I have this project due in like 2 days, it's huge. And she was like, I don't care. And I was like, that's like the last thing you want to say to me is that you don't care, because then I'm going to stop caring. So I sat down and started doing my project anyway. Obviously, like, it's more important than something that I don't get graded on. That's the other big piece. I wasn't getting graded on it. Yeah. So I was like, if I'm not benefiting, I'm not. If no one gains anything from this, I'm not doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And she was like, let's see how the principal thinks about that. I was like, I bet he'll think it's hilarious. Exactly. me and this new principal are pretty tight. We talk sometimes because we just think it's funny. But this was the one time where I couldn't agree with him, because he was just like, look, man, this is in the schedule. You kind of got to prioritize it a little bit. I was like, but I'm a STEM kid. I don't need it.
I don't want to.
I'm not learning. So I kept going in there every day. It was the same continuous battle of, I'm not doing this work. She was blah, blah, blah. She was like suggesting that I do it. Otherwise she's going to write me up. But she did like 3 or 4 times, but it never got anywhere.
Yeah.
Just broke.
I know. It's just fucking.
No one really cared because it wasn't a serious offense. So after a while, this was like halfway through the year, around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And one of the times I walk in here with a big packet of homework, I'm ready to jam it out. She was like, put it up to your Achieve 2000. I look at her and I'm like, no. And that's my usual response. This has been my stock answer since halfway before December, like somewhere in the November era. It's just been no. I've stopped explaining myself. I've just looked at her, been like, no, and then going back to my work, she writes me up. I leave.
Yeah.
But this time she was like, "You're gonna do your work and you're gonna listen to what I say." And I look at her and I laughed. I giggled. Like I audibly
Oh.
giggled. I was like, and then I kept doing my work. And she was like, "Do you think something's funny?" And I was like, "I think it's hilarious that you think you have more power than me." And she was like, "Technically,
I
by school
do.
rules." She was right. This is the one point she made. She was right. She was like, "Technically, I do have more power than you, so you're gonna listen to what I say. Otherwise, there's gonna be consequences." I like what And I looked at her. I said, "What consequences other than literally doing nothing? You're gonna write me up. The paper's gonna go to the principal, and he's gonna throw it in the trash and laugh at me."
Yeah.
And she was like, "If you can't take school seriously, you're not gonna get anywhere." And that's kind of what broke. That's kind of what snapped it for me, because it was a flashback to the mechanic who was like, "You're not gonna get anywhere."
Exactly.
And I was just like, "Oh, this seems oddly familiar."
Jesus.
Flame on.
Why is that always
thing.
like the first thing they say when you start giving them sass? It's just.
It was basically equivalent Fantastic Four. Flame on. It's showtime. So what I do is I put down my pencil and I move my papers over to the corner to another desk. Stand on top of the desk.
Oh.
And then I proceed to sit down on top of the desk, crisscross applesauce style. And she was like, "What exactly are you doing?" I was like, "Shut the fuck up and stop looking at me." So I just sat there, crisscross applesauce, until the principal comes by.
That's
He's
so
like, "What are you
good.
doing?" I'm like, "I'm not moving."
I'm not moving.
You can think this is fake, but this happened.
Oh.
This
God.
actually happened. And I wouldn't say it if it wasn't the truth.
I'm like picturing it in my head now.
Because I laugh at it to this day. I think it's the funniest thing. And so I end up getting taken out, come back after Christmas break, same old, same old. I walk in there the first day, she was like, "They let you back in school?" And I was like, "They let you keep working here?"
Oh.
And I sat back down at my desk, and she was like, "Do you think it's just a game to disrespect me?" And I was like, "It's not disrespect if it's just the truth. You're a sucky teacher, and you need to get out of here."
Yeah.
And she just looked at me and she was like, "I could say the same about your work ethic." And I was like, "My work ethic. Matter of fact, I come in here every single day with my own work to do, and I get it finished. 3.5 GPA. Who? Excuse me, ma'am." Whose work ethic? She was like, "The amount of work you do doesn't prove your work ethic." And I said, "What?" I was like, "That's literally the definition of work ethic. Work ethic, you filthy ape."
That's horrible.
And she was like, "You can't refer to me." She was like, "You can't compare me to animals." I was like, "You can. You look like an orangutan, man." Now, she's from the country of Guam, right? The small little island out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean. And I was like, I looked at her, I was like, "Miss Mendiola, with all due respect, if I were to sneeze hard enough, your home country would go underwater." I was like, "Your home country would drown if I sneezed too hard." She was like, "My home country has nothing to do with it." I was like, "Clearly it does. Clearly it does. Because whoever birthed you made a mistake. And you need to go home."
Oh my God. That's
so same situation happened. I ended up getting taken out of that class for the rest of the year because I complained so hard. Ended up getting ISS for a few days. They ended up writing it off.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. I did one day of ISS, and it wasn't even that serious because Miss Mendiola came in there, and I was like, "Can you get away from me?"
That's so good.
No, because someone opened the door. I was like, I yelled from one corner of the room. I was like, "Who let the monkey in?"
Oh.
And then
Oh my God.
the ISS teacher was like, "Evan, shut up." And then I went over to get my work.
I googled Guam, and here, hold on. Look at one of the Google pictures that fucking showed up. Here, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Look at this picture that showed up. This is what happens if you Google Guam.
Basically, you see that small bomb they're sitting on? If that were to explode, half of Guam would turn into dust.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's like I found that, but everything else is it looks like the same stereotypical island, like with the beach.
Yeah, because that's what Guam is. It's nothing special.
The crystal
Guam
blue.
is nothing special.
And then, like, all I see is like one city around the coast and nothing in the distance.
That's what Guam is. I'm pretty sure Guam isn't a country. It's just a city.
It's a U.S. I know it's a U.S. territory from what I've seen in Google.
Oh God, why?
Do we have to do history now? Do we have to do the?
I think we need to have a little bit of history time.
Hold on. How Guam became a U.S. territory? It autofilled. During the Spanish-American War, the United States captured Guam on June 21st, 1898. Under the Treaty of Paris, Spain ceded Guam to the United States on December 10th, 1898. So it's like a fucking few months apart. Guam is among the 17 non-self-governing territories listed by the United Nations. So basically...
Non-self-governing.
Basically, Spain didn't want it, so they gave it to us.
I can see why Spain didn't want to.
Judging by all the bitchy people it makes.
I'm pretty sure Guam doesn't contribute anything.
Okay.
But
no. Well,
it's just there.
Now I have to Google the main exports of Guam.
It's probably just sand, honestly. I can see.
Shitty attitudes.
It can't even be sand, because if you take out a handful of sand, that's like a third of Guam's population just gone.
Refined petroleum products, construction materials, fish, food, and beverage products.
Beverage products, that means pineapples.
It's only about 45 million, but it takes in 701 million.
What do you mean it takes in 700?
Its total value of imports are $701 million, and the value of its exports are 45 million.
That's pathetic.
It's like a child country. Watch, the one person who's going to watch this is from Guam, and they're going to get pissed.
They're going to report us so quick.
They're going to report us for nudity.
Also, let's talk about the biggest gag of Pornhub for nudity.
Yes, I remember.
And Pornhub actually making a comment saying, "Stop reporting us for nudity. It's our job."
I know. I love Pornhub. I also love I remember seeing one thing. It was like, if you don't support gay marriage, then you can't use the lesbian tab or something like that. Like, it's just great. I feel like one day I want to just, with like a gameplay video, I want to randomly just have the video stop and then just play the Pornhub intro. And then they can just continue the video. Just like, just to make like 1 million people who are playing it either out loud or in another tab, just have them panic.
Speaking of which, I have another story.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Sorry.
It's slightly related. It's so on topic. So Valentine's Day, the Pornhub's biggest day of the year.
Yes.
Because it's free. Let me remind gentlemen, free in quotes. Free in quotes.
No, it is free. I made an account. I made an account. You don't gotta pay.
Here's the thing.
You just need an account.
Here's the thing. This is why I said it was a scam, because I made my account and then it was like, we need your credit card information, and I was like, you know what? I actually have some money on my card, so I'll be willing to pay this for a short period of time, and then I'll cancel it after my free period's over. So I wasn't alerted when my free period ended, and me and my mom have a joint bank account.
Oh, so it just notified.
So no. Just wait. She was like, "Who's overcharging you on your card?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because I didn't know. It was like a month after. And she was like, "Who's MBI Pro Biller?" And I was like, "Oh no." So I didn't tell her then what it was, and I went to Pornhub and I canceled. I was like, I called them. I got on the phone with them. I went to the guy and I was like, "Look, man, you gotta cancel my account."
Pornhub tech support.
He was like, "Can I offer you?" And I was like, "No, man, shut up. I seriously need you to cancel this." And he was like, "Oh, my bad." And he did. Well, at least I thought he canceled it.
Good
Got
man.
the email for confirmation, and then a week later, my mom was like, "Oh, I know who's billing you." And I was like, "Oh no." So she calls me in 6th period in my history class, and she was like, "Evan, what the hell?" And I was like, "Oh no." I died a little bit on the inside. It wasn't out of embarrassment, because I was slightly embarrassed, but I thought it was the funniest. I thought it was so funny. I died. I absolutely lost it.
Oh my god.
And then she was like, "We'll talk about this later." I was like, "I don't think we really do." And I gave her the whole rundown.
Yeah.
We didn't really talk much in the car. It was just awkward silence. I tried to make conversation, but she was like, yeah, We're fine now, but oh my god, was it funny. It was so embarrassing, but so hilarious. And I'm man enough to admit that I made that mistake. But
oh my god. Well, no, for everyone listening, you don't have to pay for it. If you just have an account and log in on Valentine's Day, it's just all open. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I didn't know that, because I'm an idiot. I created one that day, which is not what you're supposed to do.
I know. I did. I'll own up to it. I made an account on Valentine's Day.
I don't know how you did that.
I saw the memes. I saw the memes about it, and I was like, "Oh, that's right." And I remembered it in the back of my mind, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. It's Valentine's Day. I can jack off to whatever I want."
And it's not. It's so worth it. The money is so.
I know. It's worth it, but I don't think I'd ever pay for it unless I had like a separate fund. I'd have a separate card in general just for like that. Because
honestly, I would. If I had a steady income, I would. There would be no way I'd turn that down because the content is so good.
How much is it? Hold on, I'm gonna have to Google it.
It's worth it. It really is worth it.
I'm gonna lock my door. Okay, it is locked.
Yeah, do it.
I had to make sure. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm gonna open an incognito tab because I don't like it. Because I don't want any of this. Because I'm logged in on my Google account on here, so I don't want this on here. So I just do how much is Pornhub Premium?
Yeah.
Man, this is what we get in the podcast.
This is our podcast now because I had to bring something up.
I would say we were gonna get demonetized, but I mean
we don't get monetized in general,
yeah,
so
we don't even have enough people.
Might as well take advantage of this while we still aren't monetized.
Exactly. Before we get on the YouTube radar, I just need to find prices. Okay, I don't need to find. Oh, with credit card, can you get some time? Yeah, there's a 7-day free trial. What you get? Extra content, virtual reality. Oh my god, you get VR. It's $10 a month with no catch. There's a 7-day trial right now with a credit card. Very easy to cancel. That's it. I don't.
And you know what's weird is that you also get a free Reality Kings thing too. You get a free membership with them too.
Oh, all right, crazy. It's got a lot of good ones. We need to sell everybody on this.
I would be willing to take a sponsor from them, to be honest. I have no issues.
I just went to another hole.
If you're ever listening at any point in time, I'd be willing to take an internship. I'll shave my head, be bald, and get ripped.
We'll take sponsorships.
I will. I'm so willing. I want some of that paycheck.
I went to a website. It's a news site, but then I scrolled like halfway through, and there's just a video. That's not family friendly.
That's for later.
Exactly. It's like a gif of like the same 5 seconds, and it's not even good.
Stagnant.
I didn't know if you have a VR headset and you get Port Premium, you can upload 2160p VR scenes.
You can, yeah.
Or at least you can find them with PlayStation VR, Samsung Gear, Oculus, Vive, and even Google Cardboard. Dude, they're expanding the market.
They really are. These like hardcore meat beaters are really out here going.
They're developing the technology we need as a human species.
Honestly, like I'm not going to go into my personal preference because that's for me to know and for everybody else to wonder about.
That's for Mr. FBI man to know about.
Yeah, that's for him to know about. He knows my preferences and he thinks it's obviously good because he sticks around, I think.
I know. As far as I'm aware, my door hasn't been busted down yet. So I think I'm all good.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it would. Honestly, I think it's a pretty solid site, and if you want an easy moneymaker, that is it. You buy a server, and that's what you do. There's no way that's a moneymaker because everybody wants that. Everybody looks for that. Just make an Instagram account, make it a business account.
It's why there's like a million other sites, but like they have like the same videos, or they have videos that you would have to pay for, or it's but they're like covered in ads, like to the point of where if you click play, an ad will pop up and the video won't play for like the first 5 clicks. Like I've been to sites like that, and it's like, oh my god, that's so much ad revenue.
That is so much ad revenue.
I know.
Supported enough with enough free memberships given out, enough of that given out. There's going to be a big following, enough for you to make serious bank. And I made serious considerations about it. I'm like, when I go to college, I'm going to need money somehow. I can't work for my parents forever because that's what I do. I work from home. I work for my parents, and I get paid $8.50 an hour, and it's pretty solid.
Yeah, nice.
But I'm going to follow that with a but. I can't do that forever. There's no way. I want to be my own person. I'm like, if I can get a nice computer and run a server,
I can't become a basement dweller.
I can literally never leave my house and get so much.
That's great.
Or like, you can't tell me that's not like a perfect business scheme.
Or just get like all your friends who have fuck people, or I guess even you, for an example, like get people who do fuck and just have them record it and take it and upload it to your own thing.
Yeah, they just got to be 18
and market it. Exactly.
I have no issues with it. I'd totally be down for it.
How did we get to talking about the business logistics of Pornhub on the fucking podcast? Anyone
I
who
don't
like
remember, but
anybody who either like zoned out for the first half or they cut here is gonna be confused as all hell.
that's okay. Honestly, I think this is pretty solid content for a podcast. I see no issues.
I gotta put it on Twitch. Fuck it, put it as a Twitch VOD so I get banned. Did you also hear? This is like old news, but did you hear about how one streamer got banned from Twitch for saying there are two genders?
Yeah, I did hear that, and
Yeah,
it's kind of stupid.
they are so inclusive that they're exclusive. Think about it.
It makes me mad that that's a thing.
Can we just do that? Can we make a throwaway Twitch account and just have it only stream the same like sentence and it's just there are two genders and just have it streaming it every day?
I mean, there are two genders. There are physically gender is no matter what anybody tells you, kids. Gender is defined by what's in your pants.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for. Listen, I don't care as long as you're just not an asshole, and you don't let what you like to stick it in define who you are. Like, don't let if you're gay, I'm fine if you're a good person, but don't let being gay be your personality trait.
Yeah, like I don't.
Like
I am friends with so many, like even Sadie. Sadie's pansexual. Like, Sadie likes everybody.
Exactly.
It just makes me mad when they try to force it upon you. They're like, "Look, I'm gay. Acknowledge me." I'm like, "I'm not gonna acknowledge you now. I'm just gonna ignore it."
I know, it's like, no, fuck you. Now I'm gonna separate myself from you the entire time.
There's so many people like that who constantly have to bring up that they're into two genders at once or just their same sex. I'm like, I don't care, man.
I feel like too. I feel like this is we're talking like a very old topic. Cause I remember back when it blew up, this idea of that like gender was a spectrum and all that. Like it has died down so much, you never hear about it again. We're bringing it back up.
We gotta bring it back up because sometimes it just needs to be said.
We're making it great again.
You need to be a little bit harsh about it too, because
I know
it's not necessary to force it on other people that you are. It really isn't, and I don't think some females understand that being gay doesn't make you more popular.
Yeah, no one cares.
It makes you seem like a pushover.
Being depressed.
That's also a trend that I've noticed, that people will be like, I'm depressed. I'm like, just because you're sad for a day does not mean you're depressed.
I think I'm lucky enough.
Stop trying to make yourself sad.
I haven't met anybody like that yet. I haven't met anybody like that. I haven't met anybody who has used it in a very serious context.
And if you want to be honest here, self-diagnosis is a disease in and of itself.
Oh,
because if you diagnose yourself with diseases that you like, if you're not a certified doctor in that field, you have no right to diagnose yourself.
I can vouch. I've done it. Yes.
You have no room to self-diagnose yourself, nor should you even consider it.
Yeah. Mainly because
if you feel like garbage, or if you feel like there's a problem, go to the doctor. They're certified. It's their job. It's what they do, man.
Don't belittle the people who actually have the condition by claiming you have it.
And I feel like self-diagnosis is so disrespectful towards people who went to medical school for a whole 12 years of their life.
Oh, God, yeah.
Are in debt $100,000. It's just so disrespectful towards them because they work their entire lives just for you to go on the internet and diagnose it yourself.
That's just why you go to WebMD, and then you can ask, what are my symptoms of whiplash, and it's racism. You know?
What's my whiplash symptoms? And you put in that you have a headache and you come out with head tumor.
I know. I fucking knew that. I knew you were gonna go there when you said headache. You were gonna say like terminal cancer or something.
Gets lung cancer from headache.
I'm not in the right mindset. I think I've got pancreatic paralysis.
Could pull to me. I think I have diabetes. No way. It's pancreatic cancer, and I'm gonna die in an hour.
I've got heat syncope.
It's so stupid. Like, stop diagnosing yourself. It's old, man. Just go to the doctor. Yeah. If you have health insurance, it's free. You pay for that shit. Just go to the doctor.
just go to the doctor.
You pay for it. You can go for free as much as you want, as long as you have health insurance.
Exactly. Just go to the doctor, give him your card, give him your piece of paper written on it just says, I have health insurance, with nothing else on it. Just give it to him and it'll be all right.
Yeah. And you can go to the doctor as many times as you want for free. And you can figure it out. Go to therapy. Doctors will solicit you therapy if they think you actually have a problem. They will pay for that.
You can get prescribed the marijuana if they think you have a problem.
And that maybe if you have anxiety, which would be a little bit more, relevant.
I would love to try to go. I would love to go into a doctor's office and then just be like, okay, why do you want a medical marijuana usage card or something like that? Just like, I like the way it feels, and see if I can get away with it.
It makes my knees shake.
I get wet.
Basically.
But you're a man.
Like, the only thing I can say for sure that I have, and this has been proven through many tests, I have crippling social anxiety. Not crippling social anxiety, I just have semi-bad social anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like going out in person and talking to people. It makes me nervous. I sweat. My eyes water. It's bad.
Yes. Oh, my God. I fucking sweat so hard when I have to talk to somebody I don't know.
And my eyes water, too, which is so stupid because they're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, my eyes just water when I talk to people. And they think that's a self-diagnosed thing, too. I'm like, nah, man.
It's like, nah, that's just real.
I had a test done. This is for real.
It's fucking great. It's like, nah, this is real. As you got tears, like, streaming down your eyes. I swear.
Yep. My introvertedness is not a disease, for it is just something I was born with. I'm not usually one to jump the gun.
I was born hating people.
And not really the general hate of people. I think some people get the definition of introverted wrong. They're like it's a general dislike for people. I'm like, no, it's not. It's just a general dislike for personal communication, interpersonal communication.
Anything outside my comfort zone, I don't like.
Basically the best analogy I can give is when extroverted is when you gain energy from social interaction, and introverted is when you get energy taken from you from social interaction. Like, if I go out and give a speech, I need to go home and take a nap. That's the kind of person.
You get soul sucked.
Basically.
They give you the sug, and all your energy's gone.
Basically, life just gives you a maxi sug, and that's just it.
A Maximus sug. Maximum dongus.
I love how we're just talking doctor right now.
I know. Don't self-diagnose, but let's talk about all these things.
Let's talk about all these things that could possibly...
Let's be that one ad you see on YouTube like 5 times that has to do with like, it's like you're going and you just don't want to do that dirty laundry because you have depression. Fuck you, YouTube.
That's not depression. It's called being a lazy bastard.
I know. And it's like I've seen other ones where it's like depression isn't just sadness; it's a tangle of symptoms, and it's like, and it shows like tiredness, like fucking. It's like I don't know the technical term because I'm fucking zoning the fuck out, but it's like you don't want to do shit, like actual laziness, and it's like fuck you. You're making me think I have it.
That's the whole point, is to generalize it so they can sell whatever they're trying to sell. Because of course it's ad revenue. They're trying to sell something. They're trying to sell this garbage medicine that's not... Depression isn't curable. It's treatable. It's just not curable.
Yeah.
It's a brain thing. If you don't take your medicine, you're going to go back to the same old. And also, don't say you have depression when you don't. It's kind of sad. But we just went over that.
It's kind of fucked. Okay.
Not only is it disrespectful towards the people who do have it, it's also disrespectful for the doctors, but we already went over that. We're going full circle because we see everything relates to each other around here.
Exactly. Jesus. We fucking went on a tangent there.
It is a tangent.
You got another story?
Oh God, all my long pieces of paper. I think I could find something.
I didn't use paper, I used toilet paper like a prison boy.
I don't know. I don't think my first fight's really much of a story. I could probably give you the gist, and I think it would be just as entertaining.
Oh yeah. Fucking.
My first real fight was like in freshman year, where something actually went down, and I actually had to like maul a poor child to death. Not actually to death, because I'm not a murderer yet. But
oh, that sounded like the most like r/I am very badass thing ever, where it's someone trying to sound like they're badass.
Basically.
The fucking I'm not a murderer yet. Oh my God. I've had that idea ruined for me from those subreddits.
Yeah, but it was a basic altercation in gym class in freshman year where I was just like, of course it always happens in basketball. It just has to be
basketball.
So of course I'm taller than the kid who wanted to play against me in general, and I was I was whipping his poor little ass in basketball. Yeah. And he got super mad about it, and he like threw it at my face.
Ooh.
And it hit me directly in the face, and I fell back a little bit. I was like, what just happened?
Oi.
I was like, wow, my face hurts. And then my friend Eric came over. He was like, dude, what the hell's your problem? He was like, because of course in basketball it involves a lot of shit talking, so that's what we were doing the whole time. I beat him. He throws a basketball in my face, and then I'm like, "What the hell's your problem?" He was like, "I'm gonna beat your ass," and I was like, "Go for it." So we go back into the gym locker room, and the dude's like half my size. By freshman year, I'm already my height now, my whole 6'2" frame. He's standing at a very strong 5'4".
He's a manlet.
So what he does really is he just swings. He misses. I grab hold of his long ginger hair and throw him into the locker, like face first into a gym locker door.
Full on nose in the face.
Yep, nose, and I threw it into a gym locker door right on the handle nub. He hits the ground, and I just kick him super hard right in the face, right where he just got slammed into. And I looked at him, and I spit on his face, and then I left.
Jesus Christ! Did you get called up for anything?
Nope, because he was too afraid. He was simply, and he has told me this before, that he didn't tell anybody because he was afraid.
He was afraid.
He was afraid that I was gonna find out and do it again.
That's so good. It's like, you swung first, boy.
He was the one who started it, and he's like scared of me.
He's terrified.
He avoids me on purpose. Like that's his whole thing. On purpose, so he doesn't have to get like. He's just like, I don't want him to do it again.
That's so stupid.
It is stupid, especially since he was the one who started it, and he was the one who wanted to fight. I'm pretty sure he wasn't expecting me to say okay.
Jesus Christ. It's always childish shit like that, too, when it comes to fights.
I'm so ready to fight all the time. Like, I'm such a good person. I'm such a pure person at heart. That sounds so gaudy to say that, but like I generally love everybody, and I think that everybody deserves love.
I'm basically Jesus. All of you call me God. Now.
Everybody deserves appreciation. Everybody deserves to feel loved, because some people have problems they need to feel a little bit more than others do. But some people need to be taught a lesson the hard way.
Okay.
If I can't teach you through
my love,
through my love, I will beat the Jesus out of you, and that.
If I can't teach you through coming up your ass and giving you my love.
I don't know about that. He also cut his hair like very soon after that, so I'm pretty sure it was going to be a fighting advantage.
He was going to get the advantage. A leg up.
He was like, he will not grab my hair again. Because I was like, this dude's got hair down to his neck. I might as well get a handful of it and just take charge.
I know. It's just like, it's right there.
I was like, it was my first time fighting. I had never, even after all the times I had been through boxing and MMA and stuff, I was never like, I didn't want to destroy him. I didn't want to hurt him that bad.
I didn't want to hurt him that bad. So I only threw him face first into a locker and then just fucking roundhoused him in the nose.
Okay, we're not going to talk about it. It's not important.
Yeah, it's not important. I don't want the assault of a child. I don't want me assaulting a child out on the internet.
I don't know. I'm kind of embarrassed by it because I just feel bad in general. Because I'm he didn't really do much, but it was still kind of.
He did.
I don't know.
My thing is, he instigated it. He deserved all of it because he wanted to start it.
Yeah, it was just very dumb.
Yeah.
Speaking of very dumb, we're gonna go back around to the first topic for a very short. Brief little bit. The first topic of parents and their children. Stop publicly shaming your children in front of everybody when they don't do anything.
Oh God, that's so good.
If your kid drops something in the store and it breaks, you don't have to tell him that he's a mistake because his dad was. There's no point. Just why?
I have never heard of that.
I did. It was. She was mumbling about it, and I heard her because I walked past because he dropped tomato sauce.
What the fuck? Why
he
though?
He was like, so you're really growing up just to be just like your dad, aren't you? I was like, Jesus.
It's a fucking cunt.
Why? That kid's like 6. You made him cry. He was already in tears because he dropped something.
Oh,
and now you're making him bawl because you just told him his dad sucks.
Oh, that's just a dick. That's a bitch move. Not even a dick
move. That really
move.
is. What's the point, man? The kid's like 6. He doesn't know any better.
Oh, my God. That's horrible.
So it just makes me not want to have kids because I'm like...
That's the kind of father I'd be.
I'm very indifferent on people shaming other people's kids, like disciplining other people's children?
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's a moment in time where it needs to be done, but other times it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like if someone's kid starts wailing on someone else's kid like aggressively, there is a need for you to beat.
Exactly. You have all right to sock the child.
You have every right. And now I'm gonna recite a story from my father, who grew up in the 1970s and 80s era, where Child Protective Services was not as abused as it is today.
Yeah.
Because you grew up in a tougher time back then. My father, growing up in good old Louisville, Kentucky, up there, where I also was born, and also where my mother was born. His mother, my grandmother, Mama Pat, the greatest grandmother, the biggest hippie on the planet, but also possibly award for best mother besides my own, because she was the hard discipline type, because her and her husband were not together at the time at all, so it was just kind of like she needs to be both the father and the mother in the situation, you know. She has to play both roles, and she has to work a ton of jobs so she can make ends meet. So I remember one time my dad was like fighting some other kid who came down the street. They were fighting or whatever. And then God bless my grandma's heart, but she thought that one of my dad's friends was the guy fighting him.
Ooh.
So what she did was she goes outside, and now I think the kid's name was, I met him before. His name's Joey Hall. At this time, he was like 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, and my grandmother, being the 5'4", 100-pound woman she is, she flipped him onto his back on the pavement, Jesus. Grabbed him by his arm, judo flip onto the pavement, flat on his back.
Oh my God!
The other kids ran away, and and my dad told me that. I was like, "There's no way." There's no way Mama Pat physically judo flipped a 200-pound kid, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, over her hip onto the pavement.
Oh Jesus!
That's the true test of how much heart your mother has, if she's willing to go outside.
The Grandma Olympics is just that.
Take on a kid who's an easy 6 inches and 100 pounds bigger than you, and flip them onto their back. That's a whole different level of determination. Like, applause to any mother who would be willing to do that for their kid. Really, that's on a whole different spectrum.
Oh Jesus! Just fucking judo throw the kid. That's
judo
great.
Flip. My dad's stories are better than mine are. Like, God, he grew up in such an interesting time. I think the 70s and 80s was such an interesting time, because it was still when disciplining other people's children was publicly acceptable.
I'm gonna say it's when another parent could beat your child,
and it was just okay. Like, you have if you were dropping your kid off to spend the night at someone else's house, you have every right to beat that kid.
Yes,
because he's in your possession.
Exactly.
You can discipline. That was such an interesting time.
I can do whatever I want. You touched my TV, you're getting thrown down the stairs.
And like, school shootings weren't a thing back then because problems weren't like that. One, there was no internet, which I believe is a big issue.
Yeah.
I don't think that's political, but the internet was a big thing.
I don't know. It might get political because all the newscasters blame the video games, and we're not.
Nah, it's not a video game thing. It's just a general internet thing. It's a basically harassment is so much easier over the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm such a hypocrite because I was totally doing that to someone.
I know that was the first story you said.
Such a hypocrite, but honestly, it helps in a lot of ways, and it doesn't. But it does open a gateway for a lot of violence that isn't needed. School shootings weren't a thing in the 70s and 80s because problems they just didn't come up like that.
Yeah. It's like a mix of that, of the fact that people can just be suddenly so harassed easily, and also people aren't teaching their kids how to deal with that shit.
Yeah, they're not, because they're too busy doing other things, and those kids are breeding, and more kids are breeding. It's just kind of the bloodlines are becoming more and more diverse, and that is both a bad and good thing.
They're becoming tainted.
Yeah, natural selection is at an all-time low, and we need to fix that.
That's why I support school shootings, so the natural selection can take its chance. The smarter kids are gonna hide, and the dumb kids are gonna fucking be the Fortnite dancers.
The introverts didn't survive. The introverts simply didn't thrive in those older times, though, because you had to be socially
you had to go out there.
adept. You had to go out and talk to people, and if you were introverted, you had to learn to suck it up, or you just lived introverted and you just didn't get over it ever.
Yeah. Jesus.
If I would have grown up in those times, it would have been a little harsh on me. I'm not gonna lie. I would have had a rough time.
You would have been like a baby boomer. Once like the internet rolled around, you would have been gone. No one would have seen you. So you would have disappeared, and people would have started getting Facebook messages.
People would have been so much more like adept in knowing me. They would have been so much more familiar with me, but at the same time, they also would never see me because I never leave the house.
Exactly. Just fucking...
but I will say the internet has also helped me a lot with getting out of that introverted state of mind, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Helping me talk to more people, because more people are like, you should totally come hang out with us. I'm like, and I end up doing it. It's a good time.
There you go. So again, it's like that's like the perfect metaphor for me, because I'm in a whole other fucking state, and then I knew Sadie from Virginia, and then when she came up there, she started telling that she started spreading the myth that was Lane, and just like out of nowhere, I spread to like wildfire.
Yeah, that's kind of how she did it with me in Virginia a little bit. That's what I've heard.
We became. I never heard about you.
That's fair.
She was a liar.
She was a liar.
That's
okay.
I just remember because she'd always say, she's like, all my friends want to meet you or some shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Why are you telling these people? I don't want to go around like that. I'm Bigfoot. I'm like,
some people weren't around to experience Sadie, so I had to spread the legend of Sadie while she was gone, because that was like my favorite person in 3rd grade all the way up until 7th grade when she left.
Exactly.
And then came back freshman, sophomore year.
I think it was sophomore year, because we moved freshman year. I remember it.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was a sad time when she was gone, but it was only like 3 years.
It was only like 3 years.
3 years of me learning how to grow up without another person next to me. It was
exactly
growing up by myself, and that was a little rough for about a year. It was pretty rough, because going to middle school without some of my best friends was a little bit. It was just difficult. It was so bad.
Jesus, I lucked the fuck out. I lucked out with all that shit, because like I had friends in like fucking elementary school, and then it carried over to middle school, and then it carried over to freshman year high school, and then suddenly I joined the swim team. Everyone's fucking there. Like, it was the most amazing series of events that I could ever get.
I love that.
It was insane.
Hey, we're almost at an hour.
I know. We're at about what, 52 minutes?
55.
Nope.
We'll have to go soon, but that's not the point.
It's like we're getting there.
Might have to cut it about an hour.
I know.
Even. We got like 5 minutes to make it count.
Oh Christ, yeah. That was great. That's great though. Just good old high school stories. Just
high school stories and a little bit of verbal harassment. A little bit gets through your day.
A little bit of Pornhub Premium.
A little bit of Pornhub. That was actually a lot of Pornhub Premium. That was like 25 minutes. That was like a 25-minute segment.
I could put that in a highlight reel. That's the kind of segment that was.
We need to do another video on Sea of Thieves. I think that needs to happen. I think we need to do that.
We need to get
that needs to happen.
We'd have to get everybody in. That the next video we do on Sea of Thieves. Well, I'll play with you at some point later, obviously. We wouldn't just like cut it and then only record when we play and only play when we record.
Yeah.
But the next I record is going to be when we have a galleon full of people who are all trained, who have nothing to do for the next like 10 hours, and we do the Gilded Voyage I have sitting in my pocket.
All right.
To get 1,000,000 coins. All the yums.
Yeah, Zach, Sadie, me, and you.
Yeah.
Full galleon. And we also need to show the progression from the first video we made on Sea of Thieves to now, because I've gained so much crab after that amount of time.
Exactly. Not even that. I think you got all the crab at the end of that video, but the thing was, OBS decided it fucking didn't happen, and it just stopped right when we picked up the cargo runner gear. And that was it. It was just like OBS was like, we've overloaded, and it's like, motherfucker, I've recorded longer than that. Jesus.
It's just like, nah, man.
I know. It's just that doesn't exist. I'm sorry. And I was so mad because it got way better after that, because I remember we got attacked by like the Meg or some shit on the way to the cargo run thing, and we
did.
No, we tried to fight it, and then we were like, we're not gonna make it, and then we just ran to the island, and you were bucketing while I had to go get boards because we were out.
Yeah, 6 holes, and I managed to bucket it all.
I know, it was just pure skill. Oh,
loved every minute of it.
Hell yeah. I love the fear.
Sea of Thieves is a good time. I do enjoy it. I suggest it to everybody.
Exactly. Guys, just wait for it to be on the Game Pass and then fucking get it. Do what I did, and when I did this on day 1 the game came out, because I had no idea what it was, and then I just like saw it, and I might be cutting out here. I could see it. Okay, there. It says it's good again. But like the day it came out, I had heard nothing about it beforehand. Didn't see any trailers or anything. I just like heard about it somehow. And it was the day of release, and I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. This looks fun. And I fucking got the Game Pass 7-day trial, played it for those 7 days, and then just bought the game.
Yeah, because it's good. Yeah, that's back when it was like $20 still.
Yeah. I don't even know if it might have been full price. I don't
think it was. No, it was not $60 when it first came out. I remember that.
Okay, it must have been like 30 then, because I don't remember it.
It was $30.
6. I don't remember it being as low.
It ended up doubling because of how many YouTubers ended up getting into it.
Yes, because of how many YouTubers got into it, power grinded to the end game, and then complained that there was nothing to do. That was a fucking thing. I remember. Yo, do you remember? There were 2 people that were on the verge of hitting Pirate Legend first. Like they were gonna hit the end. You remember? It was like, I don't even remember who it was now. But it was 2 dudes, and it was one dude who had done it all legit. He'd basically been streaming every day, all day, the entire time, just like constantly grinding out voyages. And there's another guy who got his viewers to get loot for him, and then he would join on their crew and sell it all, and then join another crew.
That's stupid.
The guy who basically, I'm not gonna say cheated it, who cheated the system by just joining and leaving crews. He hit it first. No one cared. Everybody hated him. Everybody hates him because it's like the hashtag not my pirate legend spread around even because it was like you did not do it the right. You didn't do it the pirate way, motherfucker. And then the other guy
feel that,
and everybody was excited because it was like, well, fucking yeah. And then unlike the first guy only like hit pirate legend. The second guy who did it legit, he hit Athena's 10 first before anybody. And it was like,
I don't know what that is.
Athena's is when you become Pirate Legend. Athena's is the new reputation that pops up, like the actual legends for the legend voyages that take Athena's quests. And so it's like that was the whole thing, and you could only get as high as level 10 because like the fucking after a while because it takes so many chests to fucking get that shit. But it was like that was what it was, and he hit max level of that before anybody, and got all.
That's my Pirate Legend.
Got it all. Hell yeah.
Anyway, I think it's time I depart.
Yeah, we're at 57 minutes. It's enough. It's all good. You have any parting words, Evan? Parting words. Quick.
Maybe I'll be back next time with more content and better dialogue.
Maybe we'll get more people in next time, other than
sir.
Other than 2 closeted faggots.
Yes.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Just fucking scream into the mic at the end. Just fucking.
I like it.
That's the only ending we need.